Hey everybody, Sickness here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. And today, head out to my local Goodwill where I picked myself up 4 VHS sets and also 3 CD soundtracks, so let's take a look at everything I got. The first CD soundtrack I picked up was the soundtrack to Ray. And this is brilliant. I've actually had this on my iPod for a while now, downloaded this a few years ago. It is by far one of the best Ray Charles compilations I've ever come across. If you are a fan of Ray Charles, you will want to pick this one up. It is absolutely great. Also a fantastic movie, but a really, really good soundtrack that I would definitely recommend picking up. The next CD soundtrack I picked up was the soundtrack to Empire Records. Another brilliant soundtrack. One I've also had on my iPod for years now, downloaded it a few years ago. Love it, listen to it all the time. This is a great compilation of early 90s alternative music. If you're into that, you're going to want to pick this up or download it. Just check it out. It is brilliant. My only downfall with this is it is missing a few songs from the actual movie. A few, what I think would be key songs. Maybe they're kind of more funnier songs and songs that aren't necessarily as serious as some of these songs, but songs I would have liked to have seen on the soundtrack anyway. I'm not sure if they ever did a Volume 2 or not, but I kind of hope they did because, again, there are some songs that just should have been put on here that were not, unfortunately. This probably could have been a double CD as there were so many great songs in the movie. That is my only downfall, but otherwise, this is absolutely great, and I would highly recommend getting it. And the last soundtrack I picked up was the soundtrack to Muppets from Space. This was great. I was really surprised to come across this. Never figured I would ever come across the soundtrack to Muppets from Space, but sure enough, here it is. This is alright. It's a lot of kind of disco and funk music. If that's your thing, you'll probably get a kick out of this. For me, I'm not really a huge disco or funk fan. The music's okay, but I don't really listen to it all that often. So, an alright soundtrack. Obviously a great movie if you like the Muppets. But in the end, nothing you probably need to get. Now on to the VHS sets. And yes, I actually grabbed 4 VHS sets today. Why I just happened to come across all these sets, I have no idea, but I definitely had to pick them up. And the first one was Stephen King's Golden Years. Now this is a blind buy. I've never seen this movie. In fact, I hadn't even heard of it until I came across this set. As far as Stephen King goes, yeah, I like some of his more mainstream movies, but he's very hit or miss for me. I've seen many movies of his where I'm just not thrilled with him in the end. It's a lot of the times because in the end it ends up being an alien for some reason. Have you ever noticed that? Stephen King movies, a lot of times the twist at the end is an alien. Drives me fucking nuts. But regardless, I have really enjoyed a lot of Stephen King movies I've seen, so when I came across the set, definitely had to grab it, and I can't wait to check it out. Then I picked up Spy Tech, narrated by the great Roger Moore himself. This here is a Discovery Channel documentary, and as I said many times before, if it's got that Discovery Channel logo on it, I am picking it up. I do actually remember watching this a few years ago, and I remember really enjoying it. For some reason, I thought this was an actual series, but I believe it was actually only a 3-part series, because this only has 3 parts on it, and after doing a little bit of research, that's the only episodes I could find online, so maybe this actually was only a 3-part series, but I do remember watching it, really enjoying it. I love hearing about all spies and all the great gadgets they had. It's a lot of fun. Definitely something I'd recommend picking up and checking out, so I definitely had to pick this one up. Next I picked up Lewis and Clark, The Journey of the Core of Discovery. This here being a PBS documentary, and just like Discovery Channel documentaries, I do pick up any PBS documentary I come across. They are always very, very well done. If you are a fan of documentaries, you will want to grab these. This sounds very interesting. Definitely looking forward to watching it. I've seen many documentaries on Lewis and Clark, but they've all been fantastic. So this one, I'm sure will be just as great. And the last VHS that I picked up today was Great American Train Rides, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This year being a Questar release. And I have just recently started to get into Questar documentaries. Thus far, they've all been great. Now, what I'm assuming this is just what it says it is, video of train rides. But what I'm hoping is they talk about the trains, they talk about the different trails. I'm really hoping they actually get into what I'm watching, as opposed to just showing video of train rides. That could be quite boring. But like I said, I've thus far, of all the Questar documentaries I've seen, they do tend to get rather in-depth, so that should be great, and I definitely look forward to checking this out. So that's it for what I bought today, so now into what I watched. And say I checked out Mixed Nuts. Now, as I mentioned when I picked this one up a few months ago, I have actually seen this movie once before, though I did watch this back around 2001 when I first started collecting movies, and I didn't really like it back then. However, back at that time, I was very picky about my movies, only like certain styles, certain genres. As I started to collect throughout the years, though, I certainly broadened my interest. Now I like all sorts of movies, and a lot of movies that I had watched back then that I didn't like, I actually really enjoy now, and this certainly being one of them. This was extremely funny. Steve Martin was great in this. If you are a Steve Martin fan, you are definitely going to want to check this one out. The story all revolves around these 3 different characters from a suicide hotline on Christmas Eve, and how they get mixed up with a bunch of other characters, and just all the craziness that ensues. We have a transvestite that shows up. We have a landlord that gets shot who actually turns out to be a killer. Crazy, crazy story, but a hell of a lot of fun. As I mentioned, Steve Martin is great in this, extremely funny. He's his typical self. Just, yes, if you are a Steve Martin fan, this is one to have in your collection. But Juliette Lewis was great in this as well. Really liked her. She has some good one-liners. She was a great character in this. But the entire ensemble of this movie is actually fantastic. You're going to love every character in here. You're just going to recognize some great, great actors throughout this movie. Though, I will warn you, if you're not a fan of Adam Sandler, this one might bug you a bit. Adam Sandler is pretty much playing his very stereotypical early Adam Sandler self, doing his crazy voice, and it just... I don't mind Adam Sandler. I like him. I like his movies, but even in this one, he bugged me a little bit. As the movie progressed, I did get more used to him, and I grew to be okay with his character, but the whole time I was thinking, man, if you do not like Adam Sandler, he is going to bug the hell out of you during this film. So, fair warning, if you're not an Adam Sandler fan, he is going to piss you off during this film. But the rest of the group of characters, you're going to absolutely love, and they'll definitely make up for the Adam Sandler in this movie. So I would highly recommend checking this one out. It's great, a really fun movie, and something different for the holiday season. It's not your typical holiday movie, so I would definitely recommend checking out Mixed Nuts. It's great, it's funny, you'll love it. So that's it for my bullet and what I watched today. Definitely got some great titles from my local Goodwill, and also watching Mixed Nuts. Very happy I decided to pick that one up and check it out again, because I ended up loving it. No idea what I was thinking years ago when I first checked it out, because it was a brilliant film. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to see what I bought when I watch tomorrow. See ya. And back in 2001, or back God damn it. And I just didn't like it back then. But when I came across this again, I couldn't remember why I didn't like it, so I decided to pick it up and rewatch it. Not only do I hate loud cars, but I hate loud motorcycles as well. And a lot of movies that I really enjoyed today, I didn't actually like back then. So I've been rewatching a lot of movies from back then, and really, really enjoying them. God fucking damn it, why can't I get through this?